a very significant thing happened during that year. It was the year of the 1953 polio epidemic. And there was a professor of physiology by the name of Jack Hildes who was tasked with essentially handling the polio epidemic at the municipal hospitals, which was the place where all polio cases were ultimately sent. They were sequestered and so on. Jack Hildes had been in the war, and in Burma, he'd taken the surrender of a whole Japanese division in his pajamas, is the way he told me, and had a lot of experience in organizing what I would call war-related activities. And as those of us who were commandeered to go to Riverview, there were 8 of us, at his behest, not because he asked for us in particular, there was just a call and I volunteered to go. We were really no better than untrained orderlies at that time, but someone thought we'd learn a lot and we might lend a hand if we didn't fall over ourselves on. And I watched this man essentially bestriding like a colossus, this war zone. Patients coming in, breathing 1 minute and no longer able to breathe the next. Iron lungs. He walked around with a lab coat, stethoscope around his neck, a bronchoscope tube in his thing, and he just was everywhere. Never slept as far as I could tell, never panicked, never pulled rank. He just, by force of his knowledge and commitment and so on, just, you could see him getting the best out of everyone. And I thought, boy, there's something. That was really something. And in the end, he was recognized by the city, he was the Citizen of the Year and the Golden Boy and all the rest of it. But an absolutely stunning demonstration of what it meant to be a doctor.
What a lovely story.
Lovely
story.
And like many of stories in my life, there's always a later connection that I remember. There was a patient in a respirator, an iron lung, who was a lawyer, a young lawyer, who was very depressed, wouldn't engage in conversation, was clearly in a deep depression, who wasn't doing very well, wasn't cooperating in treatments and so on. And Jack Hildes wasn't sure how to deal with this problem. But he decided, he called his lawyer's office and had his secretary send over a couple of law books and a couple of files of cases that he had been working on. And then slowly, day by day, he had a nurse's aide who would sit by there, a mirror so he could see the pages. And he started to read and so on. And over time, his mood improved. And in the end, he was discharged, but with serious post-polio disabilities, walked with great difficulty with 2 canes. 2.5 decades later, I'm a member of the Board of Governors, elected as one of the Senate representatives. They elect one dean from amongst the deans to the Board of Governors. And the chairman of the Board of Governors is Leon Mitchell, this lawyer. And we walk out of the first meeting at which I was present under his chairmanship, and I introduced myself and said how sorry I was that the building we were in was a rotunda with all kinds of staircases, but absolutely no facilities for disabled people. And he had to laboriously make his way up these flights of stairs with these 2 canes and down again. So I walked with him down the first half flight, and then we stopped at the landing, and I said, I probably shouldn't let on that I know you, but the circumstance was, but I was this medical student sort of blundering along behind Jack Hildes when you were a patient. And he said, well, there is a God and it's Jack Hildes. So just that connection is very striking to me. And one of the great things about that is I was able later on to get them to put an elevator in the building, which was...